I'll just add a little football anecdote to things. I've been going to the football every weekend or whenever there's a home game for about the last 35 years with my son and a couple of other people, but I always told my son I would never sit in the top deck of the Southern Stand. I'd been up there once and it was appalling. It's like, you know, sitting on the edge of a 50-story building. And anyway, as it happened, he did send me a note saying that he picked up the tickets and it showed the seats, but my computer was broken down. So I didn't receive a copy of the ticket, which would have made it clear it was where I wouldn't go. Anyway, I arrived at the ground on my own and went in, and in no time I was going up the stairs, and finally I got to the third level, and this bloke said, right to the top, second back row, and my head was going to almost hit the roof. So I sat there for a while with this, and I sat through a bit of the first quarter, and then I just said to my son, listen, you know I don't want to sit here. So I just got up and walked down lower, seeing if I could find a screen a bit lower down where I could watch it in comfort, and I damn well couldn't. So I thought the only thing to do, and I thought about this, is to go down to Federation Square. So I crossed the park, hopped on the tram, went to Federation Square, met a lovely Japanese woman in the tram who couldn't find her way on a map, and I showed her where Federation Square was, and she thought I must have been picking her up because she said, my husband is arriving here next week. So, but anyway, that was all right. She watched the second quarter with me, and that screen at Federation Square is magnificent. And so I just got a seat at a little cafe, got under cover, and watched the whole of the game with a wonderful commentary from Tim Lane and some other guy. And it was just great. So I just wanted to tell you that little story. There's no more to it than that, but these little dramas are going on behind the scenes all the time. Now, this is getting down to serious stuff. I forgot to tell you, that seat cost me $162. And, oh, that's right, I forgot to tell you. My son rang me on the tram, and he said, what have you done with your ticket? I said, it's still in my pocket. He said, well, couldn't you sell it to somebody? So I said, no, and I couldn't even give it to anybody now. So there we are. Now, this is, in fact, a bit of plagiarism in a sense. But I'm going to read to you some quotes from an article about forests. An article which appeared in last Saturday's Age. It was written by Kate Holden, who I believe is from local, or at least used to, because I've seen her around here. She has a piece every fortnight in that paper. Recently, Kate visited an area on the Errinundra Plateau in East Gippsland on Brown Mountain, and she visited what was called by the foresters Coop number 15. That's an area set aside to be forested. I was particularly interested in this article because some years ago, with some friends, I spent a few days camping near that plateau and clambering amidst its wonders. I was very familiar with what she was writing in a general sort of way. So I now present a few quotes from Kate for your consideration. As she walked through the forest, she became aware of much more than just trees. And I quote, all around us unseen, an inconceivable biological cosmos is peaceably at work. Mammals sleeping, bugs gnawing, microbes feasting, trees condensing out of thin air. It takes from 1,000 to 2,000 years for a forest like this to develop. This one was perhaps developing when Julius Caesar was a boy. Within months, it is scheduled to be obliterated. A map of Victoria in 1869 shows the greater part of the state dark, with forests. Now, 2/3 of that cover is gone. There is an argument for preserving old-growth forests for their own sake, for the enjoyment of future generations, to demonstrate that we are not simply ruthless pillagers of land's bounty, to conserve wildlife, and to respect our legacy of distinctive natural wonder. For many years, conservation movements pleaded to conserve natural environments for their own virtues. But in recent times, another note has been added to the plain song of protest. It is not only altruism for forests, but our own survival that sings for their preservation. An old-growth forest is an ark, quoting her conservationist guide. It maintains a habitat for the animals. It is a ship that sails on the waters of crisis. Vegetation is responsible for absorbing 8% of atmospheric carbon every year worldwide. That is a crucial contribution to carbon emissions. Deforestation, on the other hand, is responsible for the third largest source of emissions worldwide. A tree, as scientist Tim Flannery has reminded us, is essentially congealed carbon. A new forest stores perhaps 40 to 60% less carbon than an old one. An old forest perpetuates life's flow, a perfect natural filter system. They clean the air, manage water, and support life. Now, I'll only quote one other thought from the article, but I've got the whole article here if anyone would like to read it. But what's amazing is that most of this forest product heads off to Japan, where it's made into paper. Now, that's understandable. They've got to have their factories, but what is also amazing is that Japan is half forest. There is no forest industry in Japan, only here. And I think we are looking like dopes. Thank you.